Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Taehyung, two souls, one language only silence understands. In the midst of a world that loves to flaunt love, where everything must be immortalized, made viral, and shared before it can be felt, there are two hearts that refuse to rush. Jungkook and Taehyung do not walk on a crowded stage of love, they walk among shadows, in a rhythm that only they hear. Quietly, slowly, full of meaning. They do not write their story with statuses or live broadcasts. They write it in the morning dew, in held breaths, in the pauses before laughter. Their relationship is not for the world to understand, because it was born from tranquility, from small gestures, from a language that has no diction. Jungkook loves Taehyung like the sky loves the moon, not always side by side, but never stopping looking for the same light. Not with grand statements, but with small things that vibrate their personal universes. Like a late-night message, "Take care of yourself," or an unspoken whisper, "I'm here." To the world, Jungkook may seem calm, even cold. But for Taehyung, he is a house that is always open. When the world becomes more noisy and loses the art of being present without noise, Jungkook comes in the quietest form. In unrecorded video calls, in emojis that only they understand, in silence that is warmer than a hug. They don't greet each other. They become each other. They were once separated by thousands of kilometers. But then the world saw them both wearing the same clothes on the same day. They said it was a coincidence. But the universe rarely plays casually. It speaks through symbols, and Taehyung is one of its most subtle poems. When Jungkook regretted not being able to attend the Bruno Mars concert, where Taehyung laughed and sang, it wasn't just a feeling of being left behind. It was a subtle confession that his heart wanted to be wherever Taehyung was. Not to perform, but to guard from a distance. The people closest to them know. The world may still deny it, but it is also starting to understand. Wooshik only follows two accounts, Taehyung and Jungkook. Peak Boy became a DJ not because of a contract, but because of a calling from the heart. Taehyung's childhood friend did not hesitate to show support for Jungkook's work. The threads are too intertwined to be called coincidence. This is not engineering. This is destiny that runs silently. However, every beautiful story needs a guardian. And that is where Bang Si Hyuk stands. Not as a producer, but as a witness who understands that there is love that does not need to be announced. He sees with eyes deeper than the camera lens. He hears their silence and embraces it without asking. Bang PD knows when to speak. But more than that, he knows when to be silent. Once, in a short but meaningful conversation, he said to Taehyung, "Do you know why someone stays? Not because you ask them to, but because they choose to stay." And Taehyung just stared at the floor. But far away in the corner of the room, Jungkook heard. And understood. Because it was not just advice, it was confirmation of the love he had long nurtured in silence. Sometimes Bang PD laughed softly with Taehyung, and Jungkook noticed it. Not with anger, but with a faint smile and a lowered head. Because he knew, real love is not afraid to be shared. It is only afraid of being forgotten. And Bang PD? He is not a shadow. He is the silent guardian of a story too soft to be spoken aloud. In group photo shoots, Jungkook never forces himself to stand next to Taehyung. He waits. Because he knows that his position is not determined by the camera, but by the heart. And when Taehyung is not there, the world becomes gray. Jungkook immerses himself in sad songs like Lost Stars, not to be seen but to endure. His love is silent. But it is felt. His gaze penetrates deeper than any love quote. His steps are unhurried as he approaches, as if to say, "I will not run after you, but I will always be in the same direction." His embrace comes without warning but is always welcomed. And when Taehyung hesitates to jump into uncertainty, Jungkook does not pull him away, he jumps first. Just to show, "See, I am here." Since earlier. Because their love is not to be collected or watched. Their love is to be felt. In the pauses. In the silence. In every moment that seems ordinary but holds everything. There is a love that does not dare to grow in front of the camera. But it thrives in the gaps of time. When the spotlight goes out, when everyone goes home, when there are only the two of them in a space that does not need sound, that's where love composes itself. Taehyung with his eyes that hold 1,000 questions. And Jungkook, with the silence that answers everything without a single word. They know each other even before they realize it. Because true love is not something that happens suddenly. It is a familiarity that slowly turns into a need. Not because of longing they search, but because they feel calm when they are present with each other. And calm, that is the language they have used since the beginning. Calmness that cannot be engineered. Calmness that only appears when someone truly comes home. Once in a live, Taehyung played an unpopular song. But Jungkook knew the song. He mumbled the next verse, in another place at a different time. As if there was an invisible cable connecting them. Not intentionally, but because they were in tune. Likewise, when Taehyung lowered his head because he was tired, Jungkook did not ask, "What's wrong?" He just sat closer. Sometimes offering a drink. Sometimes just keeping the world quiet for a few minutes. In that silence, everything is more pronounced. And Bang Si Hyuk remains the quiet axis around them. He never directs the spotlight there. But he also never rejects it. He understands that some things in life are not to be handled, they only need to be appreciated. He sees how Jungkook and Taehyung keep their distance in public, but look for each other's shadows when everyone turns away. He understands that not all love can be made into content. There is love that can only survive because it is guarded in silence. Bang PD is not an ordinary witness. He is the guardian of a subtle integrity that not everyone can understand. Because he knows that if too many hands interfere, the fragile thread of love can break. So he chooses not to touch it. Just observes. Like someone who witnesses a beautiful painting and knows, even a small touch can ruin it. And when the world keeps pressing with questions, are they? Why are they always together? Their answers remain the same, a small smile and a meaningful silence. Because the truest love needs no clarification. He just needs two hearts that choose to be silent with each other and stay. Time passes. The stage gets bigger. The spotlight gets brighter. But Taehyung actually fades from the public eye. As if the two of them are slowly moving away. But only the layman believes in the visible distance. Because true distance is not always measured by steps, but by silence that loses its echo. And in that silence they still hear each other. Jungkook no longer often mentions that name in front of the camera. Taehyung also starts to be quieter when the question about the close one comes up. But if you look closely, there are still small signs, too subtle to be noticed by those who are in a hurry, but clear enough for those who read through feelings. Like when Taehyung takes a picture of the moon, and at almost the same time, Jungkook plays a song about a night that longs for light. Like when Taehyung laughs in the video, and Jungkook, for some reason, stares at the screen as if answering a smile that was never sent to him. There are many ways to leave. But they choose to stay, in a way that can only be understood by two hearts that were once united without having to hold. They no longer appear to each other. But they still meet each other in dreams. In songs. In the same color clothes without an agreement. In random videos recorded by others, but their eyes still search for each other in the crowd. And Bang Si Hyuk is still there. Still a silent guard. He knows this love is not over. He is just looking for another form to survive. Because love, like music, sometimes is not sung, only played silently in the heart that never really stops listening. And then came the days where everything felt like déjà vu. A short tune from an old song was heard in the background of Taehyung's video. Soon, Jungkook uploaded a cover of the song without any caption. Just a voice. Just a feeling. The world thought it was a coincidence. But for two hearts who had learned to be silent, it wasn't a coincidence, it was a callback. A long-distance hug that didn't need hands. A soft whisper in the silence. I haven't forgotten. I'm still here. And for the first time in a long time at an event, their eyes met. There was no hug. No big smile. Just a look that lasted a second longer than usual. But in that second, everything came home. All the memories hidden in the song, all the promises that were never said, all the longing that was never sent, flowed back. Not as a wound, but as proof that what was once there never really went away. Bang Si Hyuk stood in the corner of the room, watching all of it with a faint smile. He said nothing. He just understood. That love, when it is sincere, will never need an explanation. It will live on, among unfinished lyrics, among steps that accidentally approach each other, among quiet nights when a name crosses your mind unintentionally, and your heart feels warm for no reason. Taehyung is not your average love story. Theirs is not about possession, but about understanding. Not about belonging to each other, but about being present, even when we can't be together. They are two souls speaking a language that only silence can hear. And as long as the world still has silence, as long as hearts can still feel, their story is not over. Because true love never really goes away. It just changes form. And stays. In silence. In songs. In us who still believe.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.